Yo, what's good, Jets Nation? This is Jets Media, bringing you guys the next episode of me breaking down Jets training camp. And in this one, I have a special guest. It's my friend Jack. He was actually on my live stream Sunday night, and you guys showed a lot of support on that live stream. It was 2 hours long, and it was me and Jack basically just answering a bunch of your questions, and you guys showed a lot of love. So I had to bring in Jack. He's been a long-time Jets fan, just like all of us, and me and him have been go way back since middle school. So expect a lot of Jack on this channel because you guys really showed a lot of love. So I'm excited to get into this.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me, Rich.
Yeah, of course. So we're going to basically start right off with the injuries of the Jets. So this is the unfortunate news. You know what I mean? I hate breaking up talking about the Jets injuries right off the gate because it's the most negative part of Jets training camp.
Unavoidable, man.
Brashad Perriman did not practice today with a knee injury, but Adam Gase said that he will be coming back by Saturday. And the new injuries today is Terrell Basham with an ankle, and then Lawrence Cager finished practice with a knee injury, and he's flashing all camp. So other than that, all the injuries are the same. So that's really the injury update. Before we get into the training camp, let's really talk about how these injuries are really affecting the wide receivers.
Yeah, man. We're super thin at wide receiver. We got Mims who's missing time now. We got Perriman who's going to be out until hopefully Saturday. We got to hope for Saturday is going to be the right timeline. But with these young guys, Mims being a rookie, Perriman this being his first year on the Jets, we're looking for as many reps as we can get. So it's definitely not ideal that we got a lot of receivers missing time. But the receivers that are playing seem to be playing well for us. Like Braxton Berrios is playing well. Chris Hogan's playing well, taking reps with the first team. So yeah, it's not all bad.
Yeah, it's not all bad. It's unfortunate that Brashad Perriman has to be out because, he's been flashing in camp. And our two starting perimeter guys are not practicing in Denzel Mims and Brashad Perriman. But like Jack just mentioned, it's a good thing for these guys to really, for the guys that are backups to really show what they're worth. Jameson Crowder, he solidified himself as a starting slot receiver. He's been healthy all throughout camp. But guys like Jeff Smith, Chris Hogan, and Braxton Berrios and Lawrence Cager, they're getting more reps and they're really flashing. So there is some positive news in this injury. So moving on from the whole injury news, we're going to talk about who flashed in today's camp. And that is rookie left tackle Mekhi Becton, right?
I love Mekhi, man. He's one of my favorite players on the Jets now. I'm so happy that Joe Douglas went out and got a guy like that to protect Sam. He's like the biggest guy in the world. I love it, man. Love it.
So today there's a bunch of tweets that this was the biggest day for Jets offense. They were dominating in the interior in the run game, and Mekhi Becton opened up huge holes for guys like LeVeon Bell and Frank Gore in multiple times. So what do you think Mekhi Becton can really do for this team in his rookie season, especially in that run game?
I feel like the offensive line, besides the quarterback, obviously, the offensive line is the heart and soul of any football team. We got Mekhi Becton aside, we got 5 new guys on this offensive line. 5 new guys playing together. Obviously, not all 5 new. We got Alex Lewis coming back, but 5 new guys that haven't played together before. I think Mekhi Becton is going to be the most important piece of those 5 guys. Obviously, the left tackle protecting Sam's blind side. Always thought of as, the most important position on the offensive line. He is the biggest. Everybody's saying, I heard somebody call him Mount Becton.
Yeah, there's so many
nicknames. Is such a big, scary dude. He's so fast, so quick, so strong. I think he's going to have a great rookie year. I think that he's going to be a very good player right out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean that's what Jets fans hope, and it's really good to see him finally flashing in camp. We haven't really heard a lot about Becton besides of just what he looks like. All the reporters are like, "Wow, that's a big man. That's the biggest man I've ever seen." But today, we see news and reports that Mekhi Becton is opening holes for LeVeon Bell, and he's protecting Sam Darnold. And that's what we want to see. We know as a rookie left tackle, he's going to get beat, and it's just for his mentality. He's going to have to push through the adversity. And I just think Mekhi Becton is really developing, and it's showing in practice. And that's only a positive sign that this Jets offensive line is opening holes. Another duo that is playing well in the run game, Alex Lewis and Connor McGovern, they opened up a huge hole for Frank Gore. So it's good to see this offensive line is getting better every day. I mean, it really was unfortunate. I feel like the beginning of camp, the defense was just getting the best. The offensive line wasn't playing well. And it was worrying me. But it feels like this offensive line is getting better each rep in practice, and that's only a positive sign.
Yeah, and Le'Veon Bell actually did say that the offensive line, he feels like they're improving every day. He feels like it seems like they've been playing as a unit for longer than they have, and it feels like they're very cohesive with each other, and they understand how they play off of each other. And stuff like that. So I think that's going to be very important
so
for
that's
us.
definitely a huge sign in today's practice that Mekhi Becton and the offensive line is doing well. The one thing about the offensive line that I did see is they're still struggling in pass protection. They're not there yet, but that's going to be the biggest factor of this Jets team is they need to protect Sam Darnold. So hopefully this offensive line can really protect Sam, but they've been doing well at the run game. So moving on to some receivers that have been playing well despite the injuries, that are getting some love since there's injuries. So guys like Chris Hogan, he's playing with the first team because there's injuries all across the board. Brashad Perriman was not practicing today. So Adam Gase raves about Chris Hogan. He said he's a quick study. There's something about him where he just plays really aggressively and smart, and he has that dog mentality. And he's been playing really well for the first team. So it's good to see Joe Douglas go out there and get a guy like a 31-year-old veteran in Chris Hogan.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was a little skeptical. He was injured last year with a knee surgery. So, but it's good to see him coming in here and make plays.
Listen, he's a seasoned pro, obviously coming from, the Patriots system. He knows what it takes to win and to succeed at the highest level in this league. Hines Ward, who is an assistant coach for us, if you guys didn't know, described Chris Hogan as an ultimate pro, which is always what you want to hear from a veteran. Like we were touching on before, we got a lot of young receivers on this team that have potential, but some of them are unfortunately missing time. So to get a seasoned veteran like Chris Hogan, who's already developing, from what we've heard, a good chemistry with Sam Darnold, getting reps with the first team.
That's huge.
It's great. I was a little skeptical when I heard about the signing, like you said, after the knee injury, and he's 31 or 32, something like that. But I think it's great that we have a seasoned veteran that's going to be, running routes for Sam.
Moving on to another wide receiver we want to talk about, who unfortunately finished today's practice with an injury, is undrafted rookie Lawrence Cager. So this is probably the fan favorite for all Jets fans because I feel like last year, Greg Dortch was the undrafted rookie who everyone fell in love with, and then he got cut. So this year is kind of another vibe I'm getting from Lawrence Cager, that Greg Dortch vibe. And we're hoping he can make the team and become the new Robbie Anderson, because Robbie Anderson was undrafted, and he had a really successful career with the Jets. And obviously we didn't re-sign him, but still, Robbie Anderson proved to be a solid wide receiver in this league as an undrafted rookie. So Lawrence Cager was making insane plays today in practice, according to all the reports. Contested catches over cornerbacks with the second team, sideline catches. So it's really awesome to see Lawrence Cager developing as an undrafted rookie. And Chris Hogan actually was his teammate in college. And Chris Hogan always said, not Chris Hogan, Chris Herndon.
I was going to say, that's a very...
So Chris Herndon was a teammate of his in Miami. And he always said that Chris Herndon said about Lawrence Cager, he's determined. He wants to get better. He wants to be great. And there's a lot of people that sleeps on him. So he has a chip on his shoulder to prove a lot of people wrong.
Yes.
And he didn't really expect to go undrafted, because if he did not have such injuries throughout his college career, Lawrence Cager would have been a late round pick. And he would have been a 4th, 5th round pick. But since he had so many injuries in college, that's why he went undrafted. So he's really playing well for undrafted rookie. It's unfortunate that he is dealing with a knee injury. We don't know the up-to-date news on it. It could be something really simple that he's just out for a couple days, or it's long-term. We don't know yet. So we really hope Lawrence Cager can get healthy, because he's been flashing in camp, and it'll be awesome to see him make the team. So moving on from that, we want to talk about somebody else that played really well today, probably had his best day of camp, which is LeVeon Bell. So the offense played really well today. So this is going to be a really offensive video. And we talked about Mekhi Becton, and we talked about him opening holes, but Le'Veon Bell really had multiple long runs. Last year, I don't remember the exact number, but I'm pretty sure Le'Veon Bell's longest run last year was like not even 20 yards. It was like 19 yards or something, really not Le'Veon Bell-like.
Not Le'Veon Bell-like.
In practice, he is really showing that he is the best running back on this team, obviously, and he is about to make that next step. So what do you think Le'Veon Bell can really do for this team, especially for this offense? Like, do you think he can be that workhorse like he was in the Steelers?
I think he needs to be. I think Le'Veon Bell is the type of player that shines when he's put in the position to be the workhorse, Mm-hmm. And I think if we give Le'Veon that role and let him shine in that position, and our offensive line gets clicking, and we make opposing teams' defenses respect our running game, the things that would do for Sam Darnold is unmatched, So we need to make Le'Veon, the focal point of this offense this year. We really do.
I agree. I think he needs to get to that workhorse mentality again. He has a mentality. It all comes down to Adam Gase really putting him in those situations to succeed. And we saw an interview from Le'Veon yesterday. He said it's going to be a whole team it takes the whole team to really establish a running game. It's not just the running backs, and it's true. It starts up front with the offensive line. It starts with even the receivers blocking on the edges, and obviously the play calling with Adam Gase. So hopefully LeVeon Bell can get really comfortable in the system. It's his second year in the system, and he can take that next step and solidify himself as a top 10 running back, because I think he has all the potential in the world. The talk of the whole camp is LeVeon Bell's in crazy shape, 4% body fat, and he looks like he's going to be breaking out this year. So he's healthy. He's looking great. He had a crazy juke move. Here's a video of that juke move that he had a couple days ago in practice. He just looks so elusive. He's so light on his feet. So yeah, LeVeon Bell is going to be a really big dog this year. I can't wait for that. Next player who actually is another talk of the camp, who is in crazy shape, who is playing well, especially today, is defensive lineman Quinn Williams. He's blowing up inside runs. It feels like every practice. All the reporters keep saying Quinn Williams is a force. Quinn Williams is going to really take that next step. And you see in his interviews, he's got all the confidence in the world. And he has the determination to be great and quote-unquote dominate the league. So do you think Quinn Williams has what it takes to really solidify himself as a top defensive lineman in the entire NFL?
100%, man. I love Quinnen. How can you not like Quinnen as a Jets fan? You know, he's such a likable guy. His attitude is just great. He's always got a smile on his face, but at the same time, he's tenacious. He's nasty when he's playing. You know, he's in great shape this year. Like you said, he's dropped some body fat. He looks great. He said he feels great. He's making plays. He's improving from where he was last year, and I feel great. I feel like he's really ready to take that next step this year.
Yeah, I really think Quinn Williams, especially this whole defensive line, is so deep across the board. And I feel like Quinn Williams can show himself like, I am the star of this defensive line. Then everybody else around him, there's so much depth behind him. And that's only going to help this defensive line. Unfortunately, to go back into the injuries, guys like Terrell Basham, he went down with an ankle injury. He was a big reason why we were successful last year in the run game. He was the opposite edge presence, opposite side of Jordan Jenkins. So hopefully this is not going to be an issue and he can be on the field, because Terrell Basham is a really slept-on player on this defense. So moving on to another player I want to talk about, which is Braxton Berrios. I know the wide receivers are a big talk of this whole video because, you know, this is a big issue with this Jets team is the wide receiving depth. Braxton Berrios finally came back to practice after dealing with some personal issues. We don't know what that was, but he's making plays in practice. Here's the video of Braxton Berrios the other day in practice with the second team. He looks like he just looks like he's in crazy shape. He's determined to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, especially on special teams. Adam Gase raved about Braxton Berrios, and he said that he plays like he's 6'4", and he has that mentality that he's a big dude, but realistically, he's like 5'10", like 190 or something like that, and is in crazy shape. So I think Braxton Berrios is a guy that can really provide depth behind Jamison Crowder, and especially in that special teams. And what do you think about Braxton Berrios?
I love Berrios, man. He's another guy that, you know, showed up to camp in insane shape. It feels like that's the theme of Jets camp this year.
Literally.
Everybody just showing up, you know, in the best shape of their life, which, you know, as a fan, you really can't ask for anything better than that. But, you know, he's another guy who's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. You know, he wants to prove himself in this league. Coming from New England, correct?
Yeah.
Another guy coming from New England, yeah. I think he's going to do great things for us on special teams. And like you mentioned before, in Adam Gase's press conference today, he mentioned that it feels great to have a guy that could come in and fill the slot. If anything was to happen to Jamison Crowder, he feels totally comfortable with Berrios taking over that role. And I love it. I think he's obviously, you know, a quick speedster guy, you know, that you need in the slot. So I like Berrios a lot.
Yeah, so moving on from Berrios, we're going to talk about one play that happened today that is really good for both sides of the ball. So it was Sam Darnold threw a dime to Jamison Crowder on the run, which was followed by Bleshawn Austin popping Jamison Crowder and basically decleating him. Obviously, there's no video on this. The Jets did not provide video on it, but we can visualize it, right? Sam Darnold doing what he's doing best, throwing on the run outside of the pocket, throwing a dime to Jamison Crowder, which is a great offensive play, but then Bless Austin gets dirty and decleats Jamison Crowder.
It's kind of like the best of both worlds kind of thing going on.
Especially there's no injuries. Obviously, Jamison Crowder is healthy because there was no report about it.
Yeah.
So I think Bless Austin can really solidify himself as a starting cornerback for this team for the future. He is determined to be great, and one thing that he's working on that the D-backs Darnell Wilson coach was talking about is he's working on a situational football awareness, and that's a huge thing for especially a young defensive back. You can work on your techniques and your physical and mental abilities and all this stuff, but you need to be in situational football. You know, it's 3rd and 2. You have to be guessing what the offense wants to do. And that's what Blashawn Austin has been working on the most. So that's why I think Bless Austin is going to be really good on this team. The one issue with these cornerbacks is we don't know who's going to be playing alongside him. I mean, we think it's going to be Pierre Desir, but he's out with a hamstring. So a lot of reports are saying we don't know who's starting alongside Bless Austin if Pierre's out because there's a lot of rotations. You know, Quincy Wilson's going in, Arthur Millette's rotating in on that first team. So we don't know who's really starting. So that's one thing to look out for, and that's really a head-scratching play. So to finish off this video, we're going to talk about the man of the hour, probably the most important player on this team, which is Sam Darnold.
Gotta talk about Sam, man.
Sam Darnold played a heck of a practice today. He had multiple touchdowns, impressive touchdowns to who other than Chris Herndon. I feels like every single practice there is a touchdown between Sam Darnold and Chris Herndon, and that is such good news. I mean, Chris Herndon is just destined to have a breakout season. He also had an excellent touchdown to Jameson Crowder. So hearing all these good news about Sam Darnold in practice and hearing guys like what LeVeon Bell had to say about Sam Darnold. So just talk about Sam Darnold.
Well, you know, I'm a big Sam guy. I love Sam since the moment we drafted him. I think he's our guy. And, you know, to touch on what happened today, LeVeon Bell was saying that Sam, what he's noticed about Sam this year is that Sam feels a lot more comfortable in this offense, a lot more comfortable leading this offense, a lot more comfortable calling his own plays, adjusting routes on the line of scrimmage, you know, adjusting Coach Gase's play calls. And another thing that Le'Veon mentioned, which I loved, is that he's getting more comfortable with commanding the huddle. Le'Veon described Sam as a calm, and he actually used the word monotone, which could, to some, have a negative connotation to it. To me, it does not at all. Le'Veon said Sam is the kind of guy that you want to work hard for, which I thought that was like one of the best things I've heard in a while.
Yeah.
You know, I love hearing stuff like that. So to know that Sam is improving every day and getting more comfortable as the leader and the heart and soul of this football team, I love it, man. I'm just so excited.
Yeah, to carry on what you just said, another player that said kind of the same thing about Sam Darnold is Brashad Perriman. Earlier in training camp, like a week or two ago, they asked Brashad Perriman, what are your initial thoughts of Sam Darnold? And he said, you know what, Sam Darnold has this unique presence about him. He's laid back and chill, but he has that mentality where it kind of gravitates people that you want to work hard for this quarterback. Like, he's just, only thing that Sam Darnold's doing is working hard, and he wants to bring this team to greatness. And his way of leadership is different. It's not like a guy that's going to be screaming his head off in the huddle, like riling people up. It's kind of like, you know what? I'm a guy that's going to show you what I can do with my play on the field, and just really. Yeah. And another thing Le'Veon Bell said, he's taking command of the huddle. Like, if they're in the huddle and some little people are talking, Sam Darnold's like, hey, listen up. This is important. You know, you want to see Sam Darnold take that step. He's a 23-year-old young quarterback still, so it's good to see him becoming that instinctual leader. And yeah, Sam Darnold is destined to have a breakout year, and me and Jack are really excited to see Sam Darnold. If you guys don't know, if you guys were not in the live stream, me and Jack actually met Sam Darnold. Here's the autographed signed ball. I'll actually edit in. Here's some pictures of me and Jack with Sam Darnold. So yeah, to finish off this video, I'm really happy that Jack got to come on and report day 8 of Jets training camp. Expect a lot more of Jack on this channel. Like I said, he's been a Jets fan just as long as all of us since day 1, and we've been best friends since like middle school. So yeah, definitely expect more Jack. And yeah, to finish off this video, expect more. The Jets have 2 more training camps, back-to-back days, tomorrow and Thursday, so there's going to be more training camp. I'm going to bring you guys more player profiles, all that good stuff. I actually posted my hype video for the season, so if you guys are interested, make sure you check out my hype video. I put a lot of time and effort into that. Honestly, that was my first passion of making videos, is highlight videos. So, and then I decided to get on camera, and I've been loving it as well. So you guys have been showing so much support. I actually just hit 2,000 subscribers, and I want to thank you guys so much for all the support and love, especially if you guys are staying into the end of this video. This is a longer video than usual because I want to get my boy Jack on this channel. So yeah, that really does it for this video. Jack, just want to say anything about thanking anybody?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you so much for supporting Richie. I wouldn't be able to be here without you guys supporting him, and I'm excited to, you know, bring you guys some more content, and go Jets, baby.
Yeah, go Jets, and as always, hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.